So, why are we here tonight?
We're here tonight to celebrate the life of Stan Lee and all the greatness that he's done and accomplished, and his life story, and like what he's gone through, and how he's made all of his success, and his rise, his downfall, and then his rise again. And
really the empire he built and what it took to get there.
Absolutely. Very inspiring, growing up in an era, where the economy had a collapse, and you didn't know really what you could do. Everybody's working for pennies, and he didn't know what he wanted to do with his life, which was like crazy, because you think that with this big of an empire that he either came from money or he had this dream his whole life, but he came from nothing, and he actually just stumbled upon this just by fate, I guess you could say,
it's really the story of an American dream.
Yeah, it is the story of an American dream. Yes,
right.
Exactly.
So what were your favorite parts about the doc?
I really loved his personality and his essence and his go-getter good attitude, and also the love that he had with his wife.
I know, that's so touching.
Yes, that being in this industry, and it can be challenging, having two strong personalities, good-looking people, going out for the same things and making it work, and they made it work, and they have this spark in the relationship, and it's still there. It's a flame that keeps burning, and you see that true love can last.
Right.
And my favorite part of the film was when his wife was reading a Valentine card, and it was a poem that he had wrote basically to say that I can get you this, I can get you that, but nothing at the end of the day is worth my love for you. Right. And she started crying, and this is like her now. How old is she?
She's getting up there.
Yeah, so she's up there, and she has that passion and love, charisma for him, and they have this cute there's still that innocence and that love that they share.
We would spend a ton of time with him. And 4 o'clock every day, I have to go home to see my wife. Yeah. At 12 o'clock every day, oh, sorry, I gotta call my wife. And he just truly enjoys that. We were in Park City for the film festivals, and he's like, no, we have to stop, we can't do this interview, I'm calling my wife. And I just think that's so special. I mean, to have that connection with someone.
Absolutely.
And obviously in this industry, you meet a lot of people, and to keep that going for this many years.
And it's also, another thing that I realized was sometimes, building an empire, you can't do it alone. And he gave everybody around him that helped build that empire credit, which a lot of people can be selfish and they don't give people that credit. And he gave everyone credit. And he also gave credit to his wife that helped build his empire, because you can't do it alone.
She
you
likes
need that
to shop. If you see the house where we filmed everything, I mean, every single wall in that house is covered. Or the floors and the stairwells are covered with all of her antiques and all of her shopping. So it's true. He's driven. He's I got to pay the bills, and he's driven to create and create and create. She likes to shop. So go find a girl that likes to shop.
So, if you guys had one great power, what would it be, and why?
I would love to fly. I think that would be really cool. Or disappear. And sneak up and listen in. I was always the nosy kid, the one that would be listening in on conversations, and then I'd be oh, I heard that, and I would listen in on phone calls, or listen under the door, or peek under the door when somebody's in the bathroom to see what they were doing. I was such a nosy kid. So probably be invisible or fly. What would you do?
I'm gonna have to go with something cheesy and say, I don't know, more wishes and to solve the world's problems, and I don't know. I guess making a film like this, one of the reasons I wanted to do this is to just show the inspiration. The favorite thing that I have about Stan, and I say this over and over and over again, is I asked him for advice. Mm-hmm. And I said, if you were gonna pass on some advice based on everything you've done in your life, what would it be? And he said, there's always gonna be setbacks in life. And there's always going to be things you have to persevere from. And people can get down on that. And I almost did. And so don't ever let anyone faze you. And if you do, you could lose everything. Yeah. And during the time when he was really embarrassed and people were saying your work sucks and you do children's stories, and he was embarrassed. And we all have times in our lives where we're not super happy with the work we've done, but if he were to quit, we wouldn't have this empire that he built today. And so for all the people in the world that are creating and wanting to do these things, I just keep saying, like, keep pushing forward because you may be the next TME.
Yeah.
So, and out of all the Avengers, who are you guys' favorite?
I like all of them.
What?
Like, I think
Captain
together they
America?
have.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
we interviewed Joe Simon for the doc, the creator of Captain America, and he lived right up the street from where they filmed the David Letterman show, and he had this just modest apartment, and you think, granted it's New York, so it's probably expensive, but you would think he had this huge house for creating such an empire.
Yeah.
But the one thing that struck me about him and all of the artists that we interviewed that were, you know, in their 80s and 90s, every time we went over there, we'd go to their drawing room and they would draw. They're so, like, their face would light up. They loved it. And they were still passionate about what they were doing still. And to see that passion that people have for whatever it is really neat.
Yeah. And then another thing that I loved about the film was Stan said, something that my mom always told me was, you know, always treat people how you want to be treated. My mom told me that from when I was a little girl, you know, always treat people how you want to be treated. And if you live your life that way, you will be happy because people will treat you with goodness and kindness if you're treating them with kindness. If you're being a bitch or a jerk or whatever, then you're going to get treated like that. So that's one thing that Stan had said in the film that I was like, oh, that reminded me of my mom.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that, like, my mom would say. His dad told him that.
Right. Yeah, I
was
think
really
there's
good.
a lot of great stories. I mean, as I didn't grow up reading comics, I really fell in love with him as a person and his charisma and passion and perseverance and everything. But as I started to read the comics, and there's a lot of those through lines in them. With great power comes great responsibility. And I personally think that he does have a lot of power, and I do think he's been really responsible.
Of
for that.
course.
And so that's really admirable, and to be able to bring his story to the world when he's been so respectful of the power that he's given, just it feels good.
Absolutely. And seeing a guy that's, like, positive and happy and smiling and, like you said, with his power. And also he's humble. And he's, like, being interviewed on, you know, red carpet events and stuff like that. You'd think that he's going to be this guy with, like, this ego and have built this empire, like most cats in Hollywood would be. If they have that, I mean, I've met people with egos,
oh yeah,
and it happens, and he's not. He was like, oh my god, like, you want to know about me? Oh yes, like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll talk to you. And he was, like, so humble and, like, so sweet to, like, everyone. Where I was like, wow, I just to be in his presence and, like it's so inspiring. So this is something that I'll never forget. And I think that it's, like, such an honor, you know, that you've gotten to work with him and be able to direct this film. I think it's such an amazing honor. Like,
So I'm
so
glad that
lucky.
you
Like,
watched
you're so
it.
lucky.
I'm excited
no,
that you enjoyed it.
I'm an actress, and I'm also, you know, passionate, and I dream to be in his movies. Like, that's a dream.
They
for
look
me.
like mermaids.
You know, it would be a dream for me to be in one of Stan Lee's, you know, comics. Like, as a hot character that kicks ass. Like, I would love that.
That might happen.
Hey,
You never know.
you never know. So I think that'd be amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. Any other?
Okay, so what are you guys wearing tonight?
I'm wearing Cecilia Court from, it's actually from 3rd Street Promenade at this place called Undercover Boutique on Santa Monica.
And you?
This is my mermaid dress, specially designed for this event.
Joanna Chen.
It's by Joanna Chen. Oh.
Where are you, man?
Do you want to join us in the interview over here?
Sorry,
We're talking about the.
Apart, too apart.